What if I told you the tallest building in Texas is going up on a street that didn't even have sidewalks 15 years ago? Less than 2 decades ago, if you wandered down these streets in Austin, you'd find weathered bungalows, backyard bars, and the occasional auto shop. No glass towers, no construction cranes, just a laid-back pocket of the city with more culture and history than height. Fast forward to today, and one of the most ambitious mega projects in Texas is rising from that very spot. It's called Waterline, a 1,025-foot skyscraper that's not just breaking records, but changing the rules for what downtown Austin can be. This is a story of how one of the city's most unlikely neighborhoods became the launchpad for a vertical revolution, and how a single tower could help reshape Austin's very uncertain future. The early 2000s saw Austin's population begin to explode, driven by a surge of tech companies setting up regional offices, a flourishing startup scene, and a growing reputation as a livable, creative city. The growth has even got so chaotic that in 2024, the metro area was welcoming nearly 160 new residents per day, and you could probably imagine the unprecedented demand for infrastructure that requires. Back in 2005, in recognition of its potential, city planners rezoned Rainey Street from a residential area to part of the central business district. This one decision opened the floodgates for high-density development. Developers could now exceed the old 40-foot height limit, provided they offered some sort of public benefits. Suddenly, downtown's east side, specifically along Waller Creek, became fertile ground for skyscrapers. At the same time, Austin embarked on an ambitious effort to revitalize Waller Creek itself. Long regarded as a neglected waterway prone to flash flooding, the city developed the Waterloo Greenway, which turned the creek into an amenity rather than a risk. And by the mid-2020s, parcels nearby were some of the city's most desirable and expensive pieces of real estate. It was at this opportunistic intersection that Lincoln and Kilroy stepped in. Their proposal for Waterline wasn't just tall, it would stitch together downtown in the Rainey District, tying into the Greenway and extending the public realm through trails, plazas, and bridges. It was a skyscraper shaped as much by the city beneath it as by any global design trend. At 2.7 million square feet, Waterline is effectively a vertical neighborhood. The upper third of the building, from floors 42 to 74, will feature 352 luxury apartments, offering 1 to 3 bedrooms. Every unit is designed with floor-to-ceiling glass and unobstructed views of the lake and downtown skyline. Residents will also have access to 2 dedicated amenity levels on floors 41 and 42, which will include 23,000 square feet of indoor lounge, fitness, and co-working space, plus another 20,000 square feet of outdoor terraces. Just below that, floors 14 through 39 are dedicated to over 700,000 square feet of Class AA office space. These floor plates are open, wide, and built to attract major tech firms. The 14th floor acts as a shared amenity deck, linking the office and hotel zones. From there, the hotel occupies the 13th floor down to the first floor, with 252 rooms operated by One Hotels, a reputable luxury brand. The hotel includes meeting rooms, event spaces, and a rooftop pool and bar on the 16th floor. Behind the hotel, a multi-level parking garage will support residents, office tenants, and hotel guests. And at the street level, 24,000 square feet of retail and restaurant space will spill out onto a landscaped public plaza directly connecting to the Waterloo Greenway. The design challenges of this tower are impressive, but perhaps most striking is the use of 91 sculptural megacolumns at the base of the building. Each stands between 30 and 53 feet tall and was cast in place using over 70 cubic yards of high-strength concrete. Each column includes more than 22,000 pounds of number 18 rebar, the thickest steel typically used in high-rise construction. These columns lift the building's 3-story lobby more than 30 feet above street grade, allowing floodwaters to pass beneath the structure and maintaining public access to the creek and greenway. The columns also support the massive structural load of the tower while preserving visual openness at the pedestrian level. It's a solution that's both resilient and architecturally expressive. Because the tower is so slender and tall, wind and seismic design are critical. The structural system features a reinforced concrete core, paired with a perimeter moment frame and belt trusses placed at mechanical levels. This design resists high wind loads and ensures that occupants on even the highest floors won't feel too much of an uncomfortable sway. The tower's spandrel glass panels reduce solar gain, while native Texas limestone veneer panels provide aesthetic contrast with the glass. The building's also connected to Austin's district chill water system via 2 new 18-inch lines laid beneath nearby intersections. The general contractor is boosting efficiency by using a single tower to lift materials and people all the way up to level 74, supporting multiple oversized hoist vehicles custom built for the project. This setup lets them avoid delays from traditional hoists, which would block exterior work work until fully removed. Once the building is completed, it'll offer 22 total passenger elevators, with 6 serving the garage and 2 groups of 8 serving the low and high rise. At 1,025 feet, not only does the tower surpass every other building in Texas, including Dallas's 921-foot Bank of America Plaza, Houston's 992-foot Wells Fargo Plaza, and 1,002-foot JP Morgan Chase Tower, but it also finds itself in the top 25 in the US. If it were completed today, it would sit between the Spiral in New York City and Bank of America Plaza in Atlanta. And for probably better reference, it's just 20 feet shorter than the Chrysler Building. But what about the cost? When Waterline was first proposed in 2021, city filings placed the total cost at around $520 million. On the positive side for Austin residents, from all my research, it looks like the project won't receive any public money. I'm still a bit hesitant to accept this, but if true, this independence gives the developers more control over design and timeline, but obviously comes with greater financial risk. As with many large-scale projects that we've covered at Buildcore, the risk profile is heightened by potential fluctuations in interest rates, material costs, and labor availability. At peak activity, the site hosts over 875 construction workers daily, including crane operators, iron workers, and electricians, to name a few. Once the building is operational, it'll support hundreds of permanent hotel, retail, and hospitality jobs, not to mention all the office jobs. But the real legacy may be its contribution to Austin's public realm. In addition to the building itself, Waterline's developers have pledged $1 million toward Waterloo Greenway improvements, including 2 new pedestrian bridges over Waller Creek and 3 additional access points through the trail system. As of mid-2025, Waterline is around 75% complete. Ground was broken in June 2022, including the placement of deep piles socketed into the Austin Chalk Formation, wrapped up in 2023. The tower's podium topped out in 2024, and by early 2025, the steel frame had surpassed the 66-story 6th and Guadalupe Tower, previously Austin's tallest. And as of early August, the final beam was lifted into place. Now, with the tower finally reaching its desired height, the structure dominates the skyline. Even when I was around 20 miles away driving into the city, it was hard to miss. But in terms of trying to deliver the tower in time with expectations, there have been some issues. The glass panels were delayed by 6 weeks due to international supply issues. Labor shortages in the trades have required out-of-state crews to supplement the local workforce. And final permitting, especially related to the building's floodproofing systems, will require coordination across several city departments. Nevertheless, the developers are holding to their timeline, with the hotel portion slated to open in April 2026, the office in July, and the multifamily portion by September. Any significant delays could push delivery into early 2027, with ripple effects on leasing and hotel bookings. But for now, the developers seem to remain optimistic. But there is another, potentially larger issue looming over the project. While Waterline's office floors are designed to attract premium tenants, Austin's office market has recently hit a rough patch. Vacancy rates downtown have climbed above 26%, and even top-tier Class A buildings are feeling the pressure. Tech giants like Meta have pulled out of planned leases, while others like Google have slowed their local expansion. With over 2 million square feet still under construction citywide, demand just isn't keeping pace. And as of mid-2025, no anchor tenants have signed for the tower's space. Waterline Tower is a marker of what Austin has become, a fast-growing, tech-forward city that's embracing height, density, and connectivity. As the tallest structure in Texas, it will cast a literal shadow across downtown, but also a symbolic one across the state's approach to urbanism. When the lights hopefully turn on in late 2026, Waterline won't just change the skyline, it'll change the way the world looks at Austin. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this project, so as always, don't be afraid to share your opinion in the comments below. At Buildcore, we're building America, one story at a time. We cover some of the most impressive and headline-grabbing projects and topics across this great country, and with your help, the channel has grown to over 50,000 subscribers and reached over 10 million people. With that being said, thank you, and I'll see you next time.